People are totally freaked out. As I say, maybe they should be. But I can't tell from these weather reports. Even meteorologists I know, maybe it'll go west, maybe it'll go east, it's too early to know. All I know is a disaster, maybe it'll go up straight through Florida. It creates a lot of panic. What to say on TV, people need to be prepared. People know they need to be prepared. People need to take shelter. People know they need to take shelter. People need to evacuate. Well, how the hell are they going to evacuate if they can't get gasoline or get a flight? Makes it tough. But, we'll see how things go. I will not be on the air tomorrow because it's decision time. I've tried to make decisions for the last 48 hours, but they're kind of blocked because certain things are not available. So we'll see. We'll see. We hope for the best. By the way, one other thing that I find enormously annoying when I watch this, again, in the heart of the beast here, politicians. Politicians getting in front of TV and microphones telling us what to do and what to fear. Why do I need a politician to tell me that? Get the experts up there. And what you learn is there's damn few little experts when it comes to weather. Now they're getting a little closer to it. The cone is moving north-northeast. It kind of hit Puerto Rico, sort of in the southern part, northern part, but it didn't take a direct whack on Puerto Rico, even though it was supposed to be a direct whack. And now, the Florida Keys need to be evacuated, first tourists and everybody. And I hear some politicians say, everybody get out. I'm thinking, how? But I suspect this is going to be very, very serious. Very, very serious. Not exactly sure where. Nobody else seems to be exactly sure where. So when you're on the ground, I had some guy write me. He says to me, I think it was this morning, sometimes you just can't get out. There's certain circumstances. And this guy was hesitating the whole time. Well, I don't know about this, and maybe it's that way. I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it, and I'm going to call it, and I'm sure he'll tell me he called it right. This isn't about Las Vegas-type gambling, who gets it right, who gets it wrong. This is about getting it right, period. Period. And what we're learning, all of us, all over the country, is how imprecise this science is, and why this whole notion of global cooling, global warming, climate change is such a fraud. They'll assign it to this Hurricane Irma, as they did to Hurricane Harvey, as they will to everything. But if Hurricane Harvey was known, and Hurricane Irma is known, that isn't predictable. Why didn't they predict it 3 months ago, or 6 months ago, rather than their generalities about hurricanes and so forth? Because they can't. Because it's apparently not. They can't predict the course of this storm, 24, 48-hour time frame, let alone, what the weather's going to be or the climate's going to be in the United States for the next, 30, 40 years, or in 30, 40 years. All right, I want to talk to you about a few things. To agree to a 3-month continuing resolution by tying the Harvey natural disaster aid to a debt ceiling increase and so forth. This has been their tactic all along. And now, come the election cycle year, for a third of the Senate and all the House of Representatives, now the president who said he would shut down the government in order to get the wall, completely backtracked. Completely backtracked. Not only isn't he shutting down the government, the debt is completely out of control, and they're doing absolutely nothing about it but adding to it. Ivanka Trump is running around now trying to convince Republicans on the tax credit for family leave, another bloated, massive entitlement program. It's incredible to me. Is there no moral responsibility for what's going on with our government? Now, I hear these fools go on and on about, oh, look at this, Texas, conservative, they're going to want money because of Harvey, and Florida, conservative, they're going to want money because of Irma. Thinking to myself, do they even understand what conservative and progressive mean? We conservatives aren't anarchists. We're not the ones running around with black masks and helmet and outfits, burning down buildings and all the rest of it. We believe in a constitutional government. There's a huge difference from massive redistribution of wealth, massive redistribution of wealth, endless departments and agencies, a bloated bureaucracy, massive federal pensions, and on and on and on. A difference between that and truly helping American citizens who have paid taxes year after year after year after year who need help. Who need help. We're not trying to change the world. We're trying to help our fellow man. That's quite different than redistributing wealth and the massive federal leviathan, which is in our faces left and right. Destroy businesses, trying to destroy individual initiative, confiscatory tax rates. That has nothing to do. Zero to do. Well, these conservatives are going to have to rethink with their philosophy, and these conservatives, they're going to have to rethink their approach to the debt ceiling. No, we're not. Nothing's out of sync. Nothing's contradictory. Nothing's hypocritical. One has nothing to do with the other. Nothing to do with the other. But the president who said, we're going to shut down this government, we don't get money for the wall, he didn't even talk about the wall. He's going to increase the debt limit without getting a damn thing. All the leverage thrown out the window. All the leverage thrown out the window. All right, this turned out to be a total political chameleon. The fact that Mitch McConnell has never been a conservative but has deceived the constituency and the citizenship of Kentucky, no surprise to me. But, Mr. President, you campaigned on this, just as you campaigned on the wall. And you're throwing it out the window. We had a caller here last week. All these people who are here illegally, it's a lie. People who've been here illegally, for the most part, have not been deported. Criminals, yes, 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 down the line, yes, yes, yes. This big move under Republican or Democrat president, 4-year-old kids who are here illegally, let alone 30-year-olds who are here illegally, and we pretend they're children under DACA. Big move take place. Did it happen under George H.W. Bush? No. Did it happen under George W. Bush? No. So what's this DACA stuff protects people? DACA protects people. DACA doesn't do any such thing. You know what? Further on the course to citizenship, on the course to voting. 3/4 will vote Democrat. That's why they want DACA. Also, it increases the opportunity and for people to have various forms of federal welfare and subsidy payments. That too. So that's what we're really talking about? What are you going to do, round up people and ship them out of the country? Who's rounding up people and shipping them out of the country? Can you name one president who's done that since Dwight David Eisenhower? There hasn't been one president who's rounded up people and shipped them over the border because they violated immigration status. One. There isn't one. It's a fear tactic. It's scaremongering. They do it every time. You know this. The issue here, Mr. Majority Leader, in the Senate is the Constitution. But none of them seem to give a damn about it. And the deceit, the lies they tell us, like we have a 3-month continuing resolution, we're going to increase the debt ceiling. Really? Wow. So the government won't default? No, it won't default. Oh, cool. And broke in less than 20 years. And I want you to think about how soon that is. Oh, but they have a deal. And so Washington has a deal. The media are all on Twitter. They're just excited. They're telling you over and over again. People on cable, including Republicans who worked for Bush and so forth. Now this is presidential. Now this is bipartisanship. Now this shows you how things can get done, right? Right? Well, one of the things I want to remind you is we never would have defeated the Soviet Union if Ronald Reagan had agreed to every single Democrat budget. Republic, saving the nation's economic future, supporting the military, securing our border. I don't know what it is, but apparently our issues are not important enough, they're not big enough, they're not serious enough, they're not crucial enough to fight for. Instead, we got to have another family leave entitlement. Instead, we got a 3-month deal, and that's wonderful, and the Democrats got everything they want, including the timing of the next battle into the next election. They always run over us. They run around us. It's because we don't have any conservative leadership. That's why. Where are they? I'll be back. But I've got to state what's going on here. federal pensions. Federal pension obligation is $4 trillion. $4 trillion. State pension obligations. I'm talking about federal employees, now state employees. $1.86 trillion. Local government pension liabilities. That would include teachers. $1.73 trillion. Right? That's about $7.6 trillion in pension liabilities. How's that going to be paid for? Student loan liability, which Obama essentially nationalized. So it's a taxpayer obligation. Over $1 trillion. Over $1 trillion. And did it under cover of dark. People didn't even know it was done. Then when you add in unfunded liabilities for Social Security, unfunded liabilities for Medicare, unfunded liabilities for Medicaid, and Ivanka Trump's talking about a new entitlement for family leave, there's no discussion whatsoever about where this money's coming from. And yet in our own lives, reality kicks in. You can't just buy a car, buy a house, or buy jewelry, or buy this, or buy that, without knowing where the money's going to come from. And if you do, you're going to go bankrupt if you don't know. And you're going to go down your own financial drain. Just because these people can print money, just because they can create obligations in the out years, decades away, and place them on somebody else's plate, doesn't mean it's economically possible. It is for a period of time, but then reality kicks in, the laws of economics kick in, and they take down everything with it. I want you to believe that you and I, we can control climate change. But apparently we can't even control man-made disasters. We can't control the debt. We elected a man president of the United States who said he's an outsider, he's different, he's going to get these guys in line and so on. How so? So fast on this debt limit issue that even the liberal progressive Republicans couldn't believe it. McConnell and Ryan, they were shocked. McConnell and Ryan were shocked. So, it's very, isn't it? It's very frustrating.
We agreed to a 3-month extension on debt ceiling, which they consider to be sacred, very important. Always will agree on debt ceiling automatically because of the importance of it.
Whoa. Automatically? We will agree on debt ceiling? Always?
And also on Harvey, which now we're going to be adding something because of what's going on in Florida. We had a very good meeting. We essentially came to a deal, and I think the deal will be very good. We had a very, very cordial and professional meeting. So we have an extension which will go out to December 15th.
And hold on. And then what? And then what? What happens then? Then we get another extension, then we get another extension, and we get another 5 years, 10 years, next president, next... Collapse. Go ahead.
Include Harvey.
Let me see if I understand this. So, the fund and help as a result of a natural disaster, Harvey, unless we increase the debt ceiling to spend for all the other profligate social welfare, redistribution of wealth spending? Is that what? Well, why don't we say that's what the Democrats did? Because that's certainly the implication. Without this, we wouldn't have, funding for Harvey. It's not funding for Harvey. It's funding for the people as a result of the hurricane and the flooding. Schumer after the meeting. Cut 2, go.
We had a very productive meeting with President Trump, Leader McConnell.